The glitches are accumulating. Too many people, too many experiences, too specific to dismiss. Something is happening. Whether you prefer the quantum explanation or the simulation explanation, and they may be describing the same phenomenon from different angles, the conclusion is the same. Reality is not what it appears. The solid, singular, fixed universe is an approximation. Underneath, something far more fluid is operating, and the glitches are glimpses of that deeper reality. The continuity you remember is a narrative your mind constructs. The reality is far more fluid. Welcome to the Reality Revolution. I'm your host, Brian Scott, and today we're going to discuss reality glitches. What these glitches are showing you about the nature of reality. Before we begin, I want to invite you to join the Reality Revolution community, where we have exclusive content like audiobooks, The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard, or The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy, the I Am Discourses by Saint Germain. We have weekly group coaching sessions designed to fully facilitate your process of manifesting the reality of your desire. We have networking Zoom events. We have training modules. If you want to take your journey to the next level and be surrounded by a community of lovable, supporting people, now is the time to join. You get a free 7-day trial. You can join us with the link in the description. It's www.skool.com, skool.com/reality revolution. You've probably felt it before, that moment when reality stuttered. When you were absolutely certain you'd lived this exact moment before, when a memory you trusted completely turned out to contradict what everyone else remembers. When you see an object that was never there before, or a location that suddenly pops up out of nowhere, you were sure it never existed. When coincidences stacked so impossibly that they couldn't be coincidence. You probably dismissed it. A trick of memory, a brain hiccup, a weird coincidence. You were taught to dismiss it. Everyone is taught to dismiss it. But the feeling lingered, didn't it? That sense that you'd glimpsed something you weren't supposed to see. That reality had shown you its seams for just a moment before stitching itself back together. What if you were right to feel that way? What if the glitches are the honest moments, the moments when reality stops performing and shows you what it actually is? What if deja vu isn't a memory error, but a memory from another timeline bleeding through? What if the Mandela Effect isn't false memory, but real memory from a reality that was overwritten? What if synchronicities aren't coincidences, but evidence that something is orchestrating reality in ways that occasionally becomes visible? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what the glitches actually are. I'm going to catalog the types: deja vu, Mandela effects, synchronicities, time slips, and more. I'm going to explain the science, from quantum physics to simulation theory, that makes these experiences not just possible but expected. Especially if you're doing my meditations or quantum jumping or timeline shifts, you're going to see this more often. And then I'm going to show you how to use this knowledge, because once you understand what glitches reveal about reality, you can begin to navigate reality differently. You can stop being a passenger in a fixed universe and become a conscious traveler through fluid possibility. The glitches were never errors. They were invitations. Let's accept the invitation and see what reality actually is. Deja vu. French for already seen. That unmistakable feeling that you've lived this exact moment before. Not similar to something you remember, identical. The same words, the same gestures, the same light falling through the same window, as if time looped and you're living a moment for the second time. The conventional explanation is your brain misfires. writing it to short-term and long-term memory simultaneously. You experience the present moment as both new and remembered at the same time. It's a glitch in your neural processing, nothing more. But consider this. Why does déjà vu so often come with a feeling of significance? Why do people report knowing what will happen next, sometimes correctly? Why does the experience feel more like recognition than malfunction? If infinite parallel timelines exist, if every possible version of every moment is happening simultaneously, then déjà vu might be exactly what it feels like, a memory. Not from the past, but from a parallel present. A moment where two timelines align closely enough that you feel the echo of the other one. Some researchers have noted that déjà vu often intensifies during periods of change, stress, or spiritual growth. As if the boundaries between timelines become more permeable when consciousness is in flux. As if you're more likely to glimpse the parallel versions when your own version is shifting. The Mandela Effect, named for the widespread false memory that Nelson Mandela died in prison in the 80s when he actually lived until 2013. Millions of people shared detailed memories of his funeral, of news coverage, of the world mourning. Yet it never happened, at least not in this timeline. The phenomenon goes far beyond Mandela. I've done a whole episode on this. Be sure to check that one out. Did the Berenstain Bears, used to be spelled Berenstein? Did the Monopoly Man have a monocle? Did Darth Vader say, "Luke, I am your father"? Millions remember these things with absolute certainty. The evidence says otherwise. The conventional explanation, memory is unreliable. We fill in gaps with assumptions. Collective false memory spread through suggestion and social reinforcement. Your brain isn't a video recorder. It's a storyteller that gets details wrong. But consider the specificity. Consider how many people share the exact same false memory. Consider how visceral the certainty feels, not like a vague recollection, but like an absolute knowing that this is what you experienced. If consciousness can shift between timelines, if you've been moving through parallel versions of reality your whole life without knowing it, then Mandela effects are exactly what they feel like. Memories from where you used to be. The spellings were different there. The quotes were different. The events were different. Your memory is accurate. It's just not from here. Synchronicity. Carl Jung's term for meaningful coincidence. You think of someone for the first time in years, and they call that day. You ask a question, and the answer appears on a billboard, in a conversation overheard, in a song that plays. You see the same number sequence, 1111, 333, 444, over and over until it can't be random. The conventional explanation, confirmation bias. You notice what you're primed to notice. You think of hundreds of people and don't remember the ones who don't call. You see thousands of numbers and only remember the meaningful ones. Your brain creates patterns from randomness. But anyone who has experienced profound synchronicity knows this explanation feels hollow. It doesn't account for the specificity. It doesn't explain how the coincidences often come in clusters, stacking impossible during certain periods of life. It doesn't address how synchronicities often arrive in response to prayer, intention, or desperate need. If consciousness and reality are more connected than we've been taught, if the inner world and outer world are expressions of the same field, then synchronicities are communication. Reality showing you that it's listening. Reality is alive. It's watching you, communicating with you. that your thoughts are being received, that the universe you're creating with your consciousness is creating back. Time slips. Moments when time stops behaving linearly. You glance at the clock, look away, look back, and hours have passed. Or no time at all. A drive that should have taken 30 minutes somehow takes 3 hours. A meditation that felt like 5 minutes was actually 90. Missing time. Entire periods you can't account for. You were somewhere when you were somewhere else, and the time is simply gone. Not forgotten, never recorded. The conventional explanations, absorption and activity, make time seem to pass differently. Highway hypnosis creates gaps in memory. Dissociation can cause missing time. The brain's time perception is easily fooled. But what if time itself is more fluid than we experience it? What if consciousness can slip between moments, skip portions, or access different speeds or temporal flow? The mystics have always described time as malleable. The physicists tell us time is relative. Perhaps the glitches in time are moments when we experience what has always been true. Time is not the fixed river we've been told it is. The hardest glitches to dismiss, objects that move or appear out of nowhere, details that change, not memory errors, physical reality being different than it was. I experienced this in my own life after a number of shifts that I experienced. Empty lots becoming old buildings. Lamps appearing out of nowhere. You put your keys in one place and find them in another, and you live alone. Or a piece of furniture has always been in a certain spot until it hasn't, and everyone insists it was never there. A scar appears that you don't remember getting. A building exists that wasn't there yesterday. These reports are so common that entire online communities have formed around them. Thousands of people sharing experiences of reality simply being different than it was. Not misremembered, changed. Just go on Reddit, you'll find hundreds of examples. Now, what if these aren't memory errors or hallucinations? What if reality really is shifting and we're catching it in the act? What if we're moving between parallel versions of the world so similar that we don't notice most changes, but occasionally something is different enough to register? In Isaac Asimov's amazing book, The End of Eternity, in the storyline, there's a secret group that changes history by shuffling or moving small objects around, hoping that nobody notices. Sometimes I think that's what's happening. The glitches are accumulating. Too many people, too many experiences, too specific to dismiss. Something is happening. Let me show you what the science says about how this could be possible. At the foundation of physical reality, at the quantum level where matter is energy and probability rules, something strange happens. Particles don't exist in single states. They exist in superposition. All possible states simultaneously until observed. Then, and only then, do they choose one state to manifest. This isn't theoretical. It's measured, verified, demonstrated repeatedly over a century. At the deepest level, reality is not singular. It's multiple. It's probability. It's possibility held in suspension until consciousness collapses it into actuality. The many worlds interpretation of quantum physics, proposed by Hugh Everett in 1957 and increasingly accepted by physicists, suggests that the wave function never actually collapses. Every possible outcome happens. The universe splits and all versions continue existing in parallel. Every quantum event creates branches. Every moment spawns infinite parallel realities. If this is true at the quantum level, and the math says it is, then there's no reason it wouldn't scale up. Every decision you make, every random event, every moment of your life, all possible versions exist. You're experiencing one branch while infinite other yous experience infinite other branches. There's another framework that makes glitches not just possible, but expected: simulation theory. For a really enjoyable discussion of this, be sure to check out my interviews with Rizwan Virk. The idea taken seriously by physicists, scientists, computer programmers, and philosophers that reality might be computed, a vast information processing system that generates the experience we call physical existence. Nick Bostrom's famous simulation argument suggests that if civilization continues developing computing power, eventually it will be able to simulate conscious beings in virtual realities. If this is possible, it's probably already happened. Statistically, we're more likely to be in a simulation than the one base reality. If reality is computed, glitches become perfectly explicable. Any sufficient complex system produces anomalies. Any simulation would occasionally show its seams. The Déjà vu, the Mandela Effects, the Synchronicities. They're moments when the rendering stutters, when the code shows through, when the underlying structure becomes momentarily visible. Whether you prefer the quantum explanation or the simulation explanation, and they may be describing the same phenomenon from different angles, the conclusion is the same. Reality is not what it appears. The solid, singular, fixed universe is an approximation. Underneath, something far more fluid is operating, and the glitches are glimpses of that deeper reality. But there's a piece that both the quantum and simulation framework share, and it's the most important piece: consciousness. In quantum physics, the observer collapses the wave function. Consciousness, or at least measurement, which seems to require consciousness, is what turns possibility into actuality. The universe doesn't decide which version to manifest until something is watching. In simulation theory, consciousness is either the experiencer for whom the simulation is being rendered, or it's the interface through which the simulation is accessed. Either way, consciousness isn't peripheral to reality, it's central. This suggests something profound about glitches. They may be related to consciousness. Déjà vu often comes during altered states, fatigue, stress, or heightened awareness. Mandela effects seem to cluster around people who are actively questioning reality. Synchronicities famously increase when you start paying attention to them. What if consciousness is the variable? What if the more aware you become, the more you notice the glitches? Or more radically, what if the more conscious you become, the more fluid reality becomes around you? What if the glitches are increasing because you're waking up to the true nature of what's happening? Let me show you what the glitches are actually revealing and why this matters for your life. Here's what the glitches reveal. Stated plainly, reality is not fixed, it's fluid. The solid, stable, unchanging world you were taught to believe in, it's an illusion. A useful illusion, perhaps, a necessary simplification for navigating daily life. But an illusion nonetheless. Underneath that apparent stability, reality is shifting constantly. Parallel versions are being selected. Timelines are being navigated. The past is being rewritten. The glitches are moments when the illusion flickers, when you see through the stability to fluidity beneath. They're not errors in your perception. They're moments of accurate perception, moments when you perceive reality as it actually is, rather than as it presents itself. The second revelation: you are shifting between timelines, constantly. It's not something that might happen. It's something that is happening every moment, every choice, every fluctuation of consciousness. You don't live in one timeline. You navigate through an infinite field of timelines, your consciousness selecting which version to experience moment by moment. Most shifts are so minor, you don't notice. The adjacent timelines are nearly identical, but occasionally you shift to a version different enough that something registers. A Mandela effect, a changed detail, a glitch. This reframes your entire life. You've been living a single continuous story. You've been moving through an infinite library of stories, experiencing one page after another, but not always from the same book. The continuity you remember is a narrative your mind constructs. The reality is far more fluid. And here's the most important revelation. If you're already shifting between timelines, if reality is already fluid, then the shift can be directed. You can move from being a passive experiencer of random timeline drift to being an active navigator of timeline selection. This is what the manifestation teachers have been pointing to. This is what the quantum jumping techniques are actually doing. This is the mechanism beneath creating your reality. You're not creating from nothing. You're selecting from everything, navigating to the timeline where what you desire already exists. The glitches aren't just interesting anomalies, they're proof of concept. They show you that timeline shifting happens. They demonstrate that reality is navigable. They're evidence that the fixed world you were taught to believe in has never been fixed at all. Every glitch you've ever experienced was preparing you for this moment. The moment when you stop being shifted and started shifting deliberately. The moment when you take the wheel. Now that you understand what glitches are, you can use them. They become navigation tools rather than confusing anomalies. In my own experience, I've found not to make a big deal about them, not to go running to your friends and screaming to the world about every reality glitch you see. That seems to take you back to the old reality. Your higher self or outside forces don't want you to freak out too much. So take them in stride, see them as proof. Deja vu becomes a marker that you're crossing paths with a parallel timeline. When you experience it, pause, pay attention. You're at a point where multiple versions converge. What you choose in that moment may determine which branch you continue on. Synchronicities become confirmation that you're aligned with something larger. When they increase, you're on track. When they decrease, you've drifted. They are feedback from the field letting you know how your consciousness is resonating with the reality you're selecting. Mandela effects become evidence of how far you've shifted. When you notice changes in collective memory, you've navigated to a timeline significantly different from where you were. The bigger the discrepancy, the larger the shift. Conscious timeline navigation follows a simple process. First, identify the version of reality you want to shift to. Be specific. What does that timeline look like? What exists there that doesn't exist here? The more clearly you can define the target, the more effectively you can navigate it. Second, feel the frequency of that timeline. This is the key. You don't travel to timelines, you tune to them. Every version of reality has a frequency, a feeling, an energetic signature. The timeline where you're wealthy feels different than this one. The timeline where you're healed feels different. Find that feeling. Third, release attachment to this timeline. This is where most people struggle. You have to be willing to let this version of reality go, not reject it, release it. Hold it loosely while you tune into the alternative. Fourth, allow the shift. Don't force it. Don't make it happen. Allow it. The shift occurs naturally when your frequency matches the target timeline. Your job is to tune correctly and then get out of the way. Fifth, don't overreact to the reality glitches that you see. See them as proof and keep moving forward. Here's the permission you may have been waiting for. The glitches prove that reality shift is real. You're not crazy. You're not imagining it. The experiences you've had, the déjà vu, the changed memories, the impossible coincidences, they're evidence of what's actually happening. You have permission to take reality less seriously. It's not as solid as it pretends to be. You have permission to expect miracles. They're not violations of natural law, they are shifts to timelines where different outcomes occurred. You have permission to release the past. It's not fixed. The version you remember is one of infinite versions, and you can shift to one where things happen differently. Now let's experience this directly. Let's perceive reality as it actually is, fluid, multiple, navigable. Let yourself relax now. Let this solid world soften. You've been holding reality together with your belief in its fixedness. Let that grip loosen. As you breathe, feel the edges of things becoming less defined. The hard boundaries between this moment and other moments. Between this version and other versions. Between what is and what could be. Let them become permeable. You've experienced this before in dreams where reality shifts freely, in moments of déjà vu when you touch the parallel, in synchronicities when the fabric of reality winked at you. This state is not foreign to you. You're just allowing it consciously now. Feel the room around you becoming less fixed, not disappearing or becoming fluid, the objects, the walls, the space itself, holding their form out of habit, but revealing that they could hold other forms just as easily. Now let yourself perceive what's always been there. The parallel versions not far away in some other dimension, here, now, overlapping with this moment, coexisting with this experience. In one version, you're sitting slightly differently. In another, the light is slightly different. In another, you made a different choice this morning. In another, you made a different choice 10 years ago. All of these versions exist right now. All of them are real. All of them are happening now. You're not seeing them because you've been taught there's only one. But with that belief softened, with your perception opened, you can begin to sense them, like seeing a 3D image emerge from a flat pattern, hearing the harmony beneath a single note. Feel the thickness of this moment. It's not thin. It's not singular. It contains multitudes. Every moment contains multitudes. From this place of perceiving multiplicity, let yourself make a selection. Think of a reality you want to experience, a version of your life that exists somehow in the infinite field, a timeline where something you desire has already manifested. Don't try to create it. It already exists. Don't try to make it real. Just tune to it. Feel for the frequency of that version. Feel what it's like to be the you who lives there. Let that version come into focus. Let the other version soften into the background while this one becomes clear. You're not pushing the others away, You are selecting which one to experience, the way you tune a radio to one station among many. Feel the shift beginning. Feel yourself aligning with that timeline, your frequency matching its frequency, your experience beginning to lock onto that version of reality. This version become your version. Not the only version, your current selection, the timeline you're choosing to experience now. Feel it solidifying around you. Not becoming fixed because it's fixed already, becoming chosen. You're not trapped here. You're visiting. You can shift again whenever you're ready. You are multidimensional. But for now, let yourself fully land in this selection. The glitches you experience from now on will be different. They won't confuse you. They'll remind you. Every deja vu will whisper, you've shifted. Every synchronicity will confirm, you're navigating. Every moment of strangeness will be evidence of the fluid nature of what you're moving through. You're not a passive observer of a fixed reality. You're an active navigator of infinite possibilities. The glitches showed you. Now you know. Let yourself return to ordinary awareness, but you'll never see reality quite the same way again. Once you've seen the seams, you can't unsee them. Sometimes you'll see it from your peripheral vision. Once you've perceived the fluidity, the fixedness can never be fully convincing again. Now open your eyes, if they were closed. Look around at the reality you're in. Looks the same. But you know now that it isn't what it appears to be. This moment is one of infinite versions. This room is one of infinite configurations. This life is one of infinite possibilities. You're not trapped in a singular narrative. You're navigating through an infinite library, and you've just learned you can choose which book to read. In the days ahead, notice the glitches differently. When deja vu strikes, smile. You're crossing paths with a parallel. When synchronicities stack, pay attention. You're aligning with something larger. When something seems to have changed, don't doubt yourself. You may have shifted. Make navigation a practice. Every morning, consciously choose the timeline you're selecting for the day, not hoping for it, tuning to it. Feeling the frequency of the version where your day goes well, where opportunities arise, where you are your best self. When things aren't going as you want, remember this is one version. Other versions exist where this situation is different. You don't have to change this reality. You can shift to a reality where it's already different. The change happens not through force, but through frequency. And honor the glitches when they come. They're no longer random anomalies to dismiss. They are not signs of insanity of any kind. There's nothing wrong with you. They're communication from the deeper structure of reality. They're evidence of your navigation. They're the universe showing you its true nature. Here's the truth. That the glitches have been trying to show you your whole life. Reality is not a prison, it's a playground. An infinite playground of possibility where every person exists and consciousness is the navigator. You were never trapped. You just didn't know you could move. Now you know. The glitches weren't errors. They were invitations. Welcome to the real nature of reality. Welcome to the reality revolution. I am so excited to finally announce our newest event, 4 days in Maui, Hawaii, the ultimate timeline shift. This is a completely new event. It's not like the other events we've done. This is 4 days instead of 3. This is an advanced workshop. We will open activating your pineal gland. We will awaken energy centers. We will do the bliss body meditation. We will meet the higher self, quantum jump into your dream life. You'll meet your future self. You will learn how to navigate this new version of you, connect to your quantum heart, remember your future. We will discuss large sums of money, love, and we will activate the new earth. This is a more advanced version of our initial workshops that we've done. We're holding the event at the Maui Westin, which I'm so excited about. I've stayed there like 6 times. It's one of my favorite hotels in Maui, right there on Kaanapali Beach. As soon as we're done, you can go out and enjoy the most amazing beach right there off the hotel. It's beautiful. The sunsets are amazing. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and it was my dream to hold an event here. And so this is going to be a very special experience. We have booked a limited number of rooms that you can get on a discount, and there is an early bird pricing at $997 for 4 days. That's amazing. So now is the time to get a ticket. I hope to see you there. I know that I've talked to many of you that are excited to come to this event. I want to combine the incredible peace and high vibration of Maui with these immersive meditative experiences into what will be the most profound transformational experience of your entire life. I can't wait to see you there. Once again, the event will be in Maui, Hawaii, at the Maui Westin on May 14th through the 17th. The link is www.brianscottlive.com/May-2026.